Hey guys, welcome back to Art with Mr. Mazer. So this week we're going to be working on making a mandala. I am going to show you how to easily transfer a mandala design onto a larger paper and repeat it so you get a repeated mirror effect, which will create the mandala effect that we're looking for. So if you're at school, I will have everything already cut for you, so you don't really need to worry about the measurements. If you are working on it at home, this is an important step. You need to learn this so that your measurements will be accurate. So at school, we're going to be working on a 12-inch paper, which means each side is 12 inches. Now, to create the template, which you're going to transfer your design for, which is going to be this triangle, you're going to create a square that is the exact half of your measurement. So this is a 6-inch square, 6-inch, 6-inch. This is 12-inch. And now to get the template, you just cut that corner to corner diagonally. And that will give you the shape that you need to create your mandala. So to create it, you will line it up in the center like this and flip. We'll get to more to that in a second. So whatever your paper is that you're drawing your mandala on, like mine is 12 inches, so I did one that's half, 6 inches, 6 by 6, 12 by 12, cut it in half diagonally, and that will give you your template. Now, I've already created a design for my mandala. This is a really simple one. I would have done more detail, but I don't want to force you to watch me to draw for a super long time. So how you will transfer it is you're going to take your piece. Once you've drawn out your design, now you do want to make sure that your design comes from one of the smaller points, not the 90-degree angle, because that will always be on the edge of the paper. You want it to be from the middle point. So when you line it up to the edge like that, this point will always stay in the middle. Once you've drawn it out, you can either use a window or your computer screen, or if you just draw really darkly, you need to trace it onto the other side. Now for this to work and be really effective, you need to make sure that your tracing is right on the line, so that it has to line up perfectly. So when you do this and trace it on the back, make sure those lines are in perfect place. Now, the transfer part becomes pretty easy when you do it like this. So you're going to take your center point, you'd line up with your edge, center point is there, and you're going to hold this in place. Now, if you want to use tape to keep it in place, that's fine. I tend to not like to use tape because it will sometimes rip the paper. So I just hold it in place and trace. So you're going to trace over all your lines in pencil, just like I'm doing here. Now, the darker your lines are on your template piece, which is this little one, the easier this process will be. The more lead that's on the paper, the easier it'll be, the more likely it is that that lead will rub off onto the other side. So essentially what I'm doing here, by tracing it, I'm causing the lead that's on the other side of this paper to rub off and be on the big paper. And that is going to transfer my mandala design. And this, just like I said with the template, most important step, trace on the line. So you have to stay really present, really focused, and make sure that you're keeping it lined up. Now, once you traced over, once you've traced over all of your design, when you lift your paper up, you'll see, and it's going to be very light. I'll hold that up really close, but you can see that it did make pretty much a perfect transfer onto that paper. And as you move along, this process gets easier and easier because the more lead that gets up onto this, the easier it'll be to rub off. So the next step, because you're going to do this 8 times, so you're going to line that back up to where it was, and it should, line up to the edge and go just like that. Then you're going to flip it. So all of the lines that you drew on the edges should line up here. So that's a good way to kind of guide yourself as to where it should go. Also, remember this point is always going to stay in the center, and this should always line up, right along the edge. It may go over a little bit, that's fine. I think you should leave a little bit of space on the top end of your mandala just so, you can accommodate for that. And then you're going to just go back over like you did before and trace all your lines. Now I've already drawn twice on that other side of this template, so it should transfer really easily from here on out. So we'll go over all my lines again, just so you can see how it'll look. Tracing, tracing, tracing. Then after this one is complete, you'll just keep repeating the process until you go all the way around. And I'll give you another tip here in a second once I finish this. And you can see that one came out a bit darker, and they should just from here on out keep getting darker and darker. And then once you have those done, remember you just line it up to where that piece was, and then keeping your central point in the center, flip, line it back up, and go from there. Now as you start going, this may not be the point that you line up with. You may, start shifting this a bit so that these edges will line up, and that's fine because this is just going to be negative space that we're not going to really do too much with. So always just make sure that these on the edge line up, and then you'll just keep going again and again and again and again, and then finally again, and then that one should, you can see here, line up just like that, and that is how you will create your mandala. Now, if you're having any trouble with this or any kind of questions, please let me know so that I can help you out. Good luck.